Hi everybody. I was gonna call it a night, but something just happened a moment ago that I wanted to mention. Sometimes young girls are out there and they're just so unsuspecting. They don't realize there's real evil. And pretty girls, young girls, particularly when you're age 11 or so, for some reason, um, it's not just that age, but there's a particular target for that age from these criminals. It was interesting because my cat goes out on the patio and he like drags in like a bug or something. Sometimes he tries to play with it. Sometimes he just killed like some kind of um, lizard or something, and it's awful, right? And and I could recall hearing that story just a short while ago where those three girls were cap- held captive for 10 years. So, these criminals go out and they want someone to play with, they want someone to have sex with, and they want to have, and then sometimes they kill them. And they're out there. And they drag, so you gotta be concerned about them dragging you back to, um, to where they live. And they have these plans and they'll execute them. They'll have the basement, the windows covered up, and so people need to keep an eye out because there's a lot more women and kids that are trapped. So people need to say, I hear this screaming, I hear this crying, I hear this. Where's that baby? Because sometimes they get these young girls impregnated, right? They get them knocked up. This is my me with my iPod. I'm always going with my iPod in my ear. So, make sure that you're very aware, alert. Some women carry mace. Some people make sure that they'll be able to be tracked with their phone on them. Um, but more importantly, people have to stay alert to their neighbors. They'll be like, what's going on over there? Make the call, snoop, figure it out. Make it your little hobby to try to figure out what's going over there and make sure you don't get caught so that if there's a child being abused, if there's a woman, if you think somebody's trapped, these police are like, oh no, 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 there's nothing going. You got to stay with them, and you have to stay on top of things, and you have to keep saying something and saying something and saying something until you know it gets investigated, and you could save a life. You could save a kid. Those three girls, but they weren't the only ones. There's other ones out there, and there's gonna be more. Um, so we have to all stick together. And there's lots of people are say I'm bored. I don't know what to do. Excuse me. If you want to make this world better for God and better, you can get out. So let me go report some drunk drivers. Let me go look to see if I can go for a country drive and see if I see some animals caged up like and they're not supposed to, some exotic animals. You can report this stuff and they'll never know that it's you. I'm trying to make it better and to save the unsuspecting and innocent and defenseless, you know, person. Um, so, and when you're at home, we survived a home invasion. So make sure that you have your doors locked. Just a couple of weeks ago, this girl was drunk knocking on my door quarter to 1 in the morning. I told her you don't live here. She didn't believe me. 5 minutes later, she came back. I told her, I said, I'm going to call the police. And she's like, yeah, right. And she left. She's trying to put the key in the door. Imagine if my door wasn't locked. She could have been high. I mean, I say drunk, but she could have been high. She could have been a criminal. She could have came in and was so out of her mind and thought, oh, you're here with my husband. I mean, I don't even know the woman, right? But she could have been in that frame of mind, and who knows what would have happened right here in my living room, right? So, you know, keep the doors locked. You have to understand that they're everywhere. They're at the pools, they're at the grocery store, they're on the pathways. When you take your kids to school, don't let your little girls and little boys walk to school alone. You know, Make sure that wherever they are, the security is like they understand that when your kid is in their care, that there better be measures in place to watch out for those criminals that are trying to get their hands on kids. And women, you know, sometimes you fall in love with bad guys. They trick you, manipulate you, lie to you, and they're gonna kill you if you don't get out of the way. You know, if there's tendency for violence, there was a girl shot up in Vancouver. Uh, the ex-boyfriend was, um, they broke up, and he, I guess, wanted her back. This is, and I'm not saying that he did it. I'm just saying what the news is reporting, because I can't say what he's done or didn't do, because I can't do that. But I can say that apparently he beat her up the night before, and the next day somebody came and shot her dead, put 8 bullets in her. Beautiful young Indian girl. Still, whoever did it is still at large. You know, and you would think that Simon University would have adequate security in place to protect those, particularly the young girls, and they didn't. Obviously, they didn't because the girl was shot to death, and he is still at large. Whoever did this to this girl. So, can you imagine what the family's going through? And it's not the only family. Um, she was going to be a doctor, a dermatologist. She was already uh, I believe she was already in a movie, did some modeling. Just a beautiful girl, stunning, like wow. And you know, um, so if anybody has any information on that, or if anybody knows how to, uh, I've seen these 3 guys on, I think it was Dateline. They were undercover guys, and they they ended up catching, helping they went undercover to catch the guy who killed this other parent's uh, daughter, and so maybe that'll happen. Maybe somebody will do some investigating and help that family out. We have to care because it's our human responsibility. We don't have to. I don't know these people personally. I've never met them. You know, but just from a human being standpoint, and just from the standpoint that you know, like being a parent, being somebody in the community. This matters, and these things are something that we have to take care of, and we have to, put it out there. Um, British Columbia has a lot of issues. There was 50 women killed up there by one man. He was only charged for 6, and so there is 44 families that don't have justice to this day, and that should be an outrage. His name is Robert Fickton, that's in jail for doing that, and the system is not working. It's not working at all. So, my message on this is that you can't go about your day being so unsuspecting to the evils out there. And this person could look really nice, they look really friendly, they probably would be particularly friendly because when they're playing you and they're trying to lure you somewhere, um, they're trying to press your emotional buttons. It's like, if I make her feel this, she'll give me that. If I don't do this, she won't suspect this. If I just wait until she does this, then I could do this. I listen to what they say on the show Lockup, and the criminals will say they're very patient, they're very persistent, and they scam people. Um, uh, and they're opportunistic, so they wait for the opportunity. And sometimes we create circumstances by putting ourselves in positions where we're walking through we're going for on a bike trail where there's nobody around, so we think. we're going for a walk somewhere where nobody would hear it and help if there was a scream. We're laying, in bed listening to music with our patio door open, being on the first floor. In it doesn't have to be a well-known crime area for them to come in. The crackheads are coming in, the criminals are coming in to get their money for their drugs, and there's hardcore drug users out there. It's a very, very, very uh, serious drug problem that's going on. But there's also the guy, I heard of this guy in Florida. It was this mom and daughter went into Walmart, and he went in, oh, hi, I'd like to help you out. He started chatting them up. Well, let me buy you this, and I can get you this. Well, why don't we go over here and we'll go for dinner after? She's, oh, okay. Oh, what a nice man helping out. So he's like, okay, well, I'll go over there. Me and your daughter will go over. You pay for this with this money, and he walked off with her daughter and killed her. So you have the responsibility to make sure that you just, if you hear me say these words, I hope this is your light bulb. If I could be that light bulb for you, because you don't have the right to hear these words and just carry on and then put yourself and your children at risk because you want to be in denial and you think you're so special that it wouldn't happen to you. Well, you're not that special. You're not that, in the sense that crime can happen to good people. You may be a good person, and as long as they do what's required, it's going to happen. Because there's nobody that's going to come from anywhere and stop them from doing it um, sometimes. So, there was this other woman that she and her boyfriend, I think they were both in their 50s, had an argument. She ran and told her two sons, her two young sons, and they went over and were bashing out his windows in the car. He came out and shot her both sons to death. This is a true story, you know. So you have to. There's a thing called unintended consequences. So you don't intend for something to end a certain way, but they do end that way. Because you don't know what other people are capable. Because you're not capable of shooting somebody doesn't mean other people don't. Because you're not capable of molesting or raping or strangling or robbing or going into their house and taking their property and scaring the hell out of people. It doesn't mean other people aren't doing it. They do it it happens every day. There's molesters in every neighborhood. There are people's fathers, and other people would say, "Well, he was really nice." He was a child molester at times too. Ask your kids questions. Is anybody touch? Ask the questions and believe them. Why would they lie? And you can't put money before yourself, like your safety or your kids' safety, because you can go to jail for that. So once you know, and you have the responsibility to ask, you got to get out of the way. You don't want to be with a criminal. You think that it's okay for him to be out robbing and then come back and give you money. It's not right. And you could be held accountable along with him, and you should be held accountable. You know the difference between right and wrong. You can call 311, 211 in your city and get help. There's resources out there. You just ask for help. Start a driving school. Spend your time figuring out a better life for yourself rather than so much heartache, you know? So listen to the signs and get out of the way and be strong and be smart. And good luck to you.